Well, hello America. We're out at the shop today, and I finally got most of it done. It's not 100%, but it's awful darn close. Electrical, solar, and all the AC electrical. I've got all that done. I don't have the DC done, but I've got all the AC done. So we're going to do a quick run through today of how I mounted the solar panels and how I wired things and how I ran all this and got it all put together. So follow me. All right, so what I've got 4 of these panels. They're 300 watt panels, so it's a 1200 watt system. What I bought it for was the shop. I was going to put the solar panels on the shop. This is 3 or 4 years ago. I built the shop out here, and there's no house out here. It's just a shop on some acreage out here. So it's basically a farm barn, and they've got electricity out here at the road, but I called the power company and asked them, says, hey, how about coming out and running some cable or some electrical for me? And they gave me an estimate. It was like $4,800. And holy crud, $4,800. My neighbor over here, it only cost him like $1,800, you know. And they said, well, that's because he's got a house. I'm like, what's that matter? And he said, well, they have a house and they're going to use air conditioning and water heaters and, you know, a full household full of electricity. I got spider webs everywhere. Yeah, you have spider webs all over everything. So anyway, they'll use up a lot of electricity, so we'll make our money off of the monthly bill. You're just going to have a shop out there running some lights and stuff. We probably won't make any money off of you, so we can't give you the discount. So we're going to charge you full price to put the system in. $4,800 to put 2 telephone poles, a transformer, and underground up to the shop. And then from the shop, I got more money going into the interior. So I decided not to put $5,000+ into electrical when I'm not out here that much. And when I am, if I need some electricity, I just start the generator up. So that's what I did. I decided to just use a generator, and I bought the solar panels. I was going to put solars up for basically some lights and be able to run some few, you know, power tools and stuff like that. And that's about all I was going to use it for. So I bought the system, 1200 watt system, and you know how it is. You get busy working, and you're constantly. It's just me. I procrastinate bad about things. I'll buy something and be ready to put it in, and never get it done. So anyway, so I had these panels, and I don't know how big they are overall size, but I'm 6'1", so they're probably about 75 inches tall, and I think they're about 39 inches wide if I remember right. So 75 by 39, and that's fine for the shop and everything. I have 4 panels. Well, where am I going with that? 1200 watt panels won't fit on top of this van, but 3 of them will. Okay. Now I got to thinking, how much power do I need for this van? And I'm thinking maybe about 600 maybe. So I'll just use two panels. Well, if I use 2 panels, I'd probably put them end to end, 75 and 75, and they would come out. They would come way out to about right here. And you see the problem is when the wind's blowing, the panel's out there and the wind gets up underneath there and lifts it up and rips them off. So I didn't want to mount them that way, so all right, let's turn them sideways. Well, if I turn them sideways the way they are now, I can fit 3 of them up there. That's 900 watts. Oh, that's plenty of power. And I have a little bit of room on the back to put my fantastic fan and a TV antenna or whatever else I might want to put. I still have a little bit of real estate up there. So that's what I did. I put 3 of them up. Everything's good except for this. As you can see, they overhang a little bit, right? So, I'd say about that much. That's probably about 7-8 inches. So if they were a little bit narrower, they'd have fit up there a lot prettier, a lot nicer. These are 300 watt panels. Renogy makes a 255 watt panel, and they're the same width but a little bit shorter, the other way around. They're not as wide. The way I've got them set up here, they're the same length but not quite as wide. So they wouldn't hang over the end. They would have been better choice. But I've already had these and I wasn't going to go out and buy extra new panels just for this. So maybe one of these days I will buy those panels. I'll take these off and put them on the shop like I originally thought. But for now, these will do okay. So 900 watts up on the roof. Let's show you how I mounted them. All right, we got them mounted up here. I'm using this track. It's all track or something. I can't remember the name of this track, but it's for electrical. Electricians use it for running like conduit in the up in the rafters of warehouses and stuff, and they'll hang this up there, and then they can hang different piping and connectors and all anywhere they want along that track. Okay, well I put them in. I just put it upside down, and I mounted it right here to these mounting bolts. So I mounted it right here to these mounting sections. Now this bushing right here, what that is a rubber pad for a engine mount for like a 350 Chevy engine. I went down to the auto parts store and asked them for a rubber bushing, and that's what they come up with. I'm like, well, hell, that'll work just perfect. And they got a hole already drilled in them, so it's like a donut, rubber donut. All right, so in the roof, there was these little grommets, and you pop the grommet off, and underneath there's a bolt that's in the frame, in the head, in the cross members of the ceiling, and that's for factory mounting bolts, or mounting positions for things like ladder racks and whatnot. So I put one there, and there's a second one, and then a third, and there's 4 of them. They run down to the side of the van. Well, I put them in, put this track on here, and in this track, it's almost like a ladder rack in itself, but it sits really low to the ground. It's not up in the air real high, and it mounted these things perfectly. So there we go. So I bolted them on, and there's a nut on the inside. Let me show you this. So you got this track, and then you get this bolt, all right? And that bolt goes in, and then twists, and then pops back up, and now you've got a bolt and a nut on the inside to tighten stuff up on, all right? And then they come right back out too. But anyway, you buy these down at they come with this track in the same section, in the electrical section down at your Home Depot or Lowe's or whatnot, all right? And then this here's just a 90-degree bracket. I put these up and I measured these and got everything nice and square. So I bolted these in, and now I don't have to worry about lining them up. But when I put this one up, all the other 3 will line up smooth. This is kind of my reference point, I should say. All right. All right, this here's your 3-into-1, 3 solar panels coming into one. Okay, it's the connector. I had to order these off Amazon. I don't remember how much they were. They weren't very much, $5 or $6 a piece, I think. Anyway, buy these 3-into-1. That makes 12, 12, and 12 means 36 watts are going through here, or amps, I mean. 36 volts. I don't remember. Shit, I'm not an electrician. The funny thing is, my dad's an electrician, and I don't know a damn thing about electrical work. But anyway, 3-into-1. I don't remember if that's series or parallel, but whatever it is, that's what I got. And we come back here. This is the inlet for the going through the roof, and the 2 cables come through here. Now this is just on here just to hold them together. I'm going to silicone the heck out of this once I get everything done. I still got to put silicone, what do they call it, the self-leveling caulking. I got to put around the max air fan, and around here, and then around here. I'm going to open this up and actually squirt some on the inside and just get it really good and sealed. All right, we're at the back of the van now, and the cables come in through the roof. I've got the extra spooled up here instead of cutting it in case I wanted to move something around. I wouldn't lose all the cable. So I got it spooled up here, a couple loops, and it comes in positive and negative on the internal. And then these cables here, positive and negative, coming out. They go to the batteries. All right, out of the charge control, we got positive, negative. Let's see which one's which. That's the negative, goes around to the back, goes all the way to this far battery, and connects to that terminal. And then the positive goes over, here's the positive, goes over to this terminal right there, okay? That's going into the battery. So I've got a positive coming in and a negative coming in on the other far end of the batteries. And then I've got them all hooked up in series or parallel. I can never keep those 2 straight. Anyway, I've got them all set up. This stays 12 volt all the way through the system. So I've got 6 100 amp hour batteries. It's basically one big 12 volt battery, the way it's set up. All right, so that's how electricity gets into the batteries. Then this cable here, this is the positive. This one right here, that's positive, and on the back corner over there is the negative, comes in up here to the inverter. So we got your 3,000 watt inverter here. The electricity comes up into this inverter, and from this inverter, power goes out to the refrigerator, and it's just regular plug-in, okay? And then over here I've got these male, whoa, get back here. So over here I've got these male ends for an extension cord. So this extension cord, you just, get a bad extension cord and you cut it and put this on there instead to replace it. All right, all I did was, instead of running an extension cord up to the internal part of the van, I just run Romax, just like in your house, okay? Just regular wall wiring. It's 14 gauge if I remember right. So that runs up there, and one goes down the passenger side, and one goes down the driver's side. Comes back here and just plugs in. All right. Now I know there's going to be all kinds of comments from you guys about, oh my gosh, you got to put some fuses and switches and stuff like that on there. I am. That's one of the things I still need to do, especially up here on the solar coming in. I want to put a switch up here somewhere to where all I got to do is flip that switch and it cuts off all the electricity from the solar panels. Okay, no more electricity coming in. So when I store it, I can shut the solar panels off, I can turn this thing to off, and I can just turn this off and maybe unplug one of the batteries. Long-term storage. If it's just going to be a week or two, no big deal, but 3 or 4 months while I'm out trucking still, I'll unhook this stuff so it won't possibly drain the batteries or something. So, but I need to put a switch in up here, you're right. Probably need to put a fuse in here somewhere too, so I'm looking into that. All right. If you guys got some suggestions, I'm willing to listen. All right, what do we got then? So we got this Romax going up into the interior of the van, so I guess that's the next place to go. Okay, we're on the inside of the van now. We have outlets here and there, so let's go through them. First outlet is right here in front of the kitchen area. Remember I was talking about different stoves? I'm going to have a propane stove, and I'm going to have an electric induction stove. Just one of those set on the counter types, and then you can put it away later. So it'll sit right here, and I'll plug it in, use it. When I'm done, I'll unplug it, and then I'll store it back underneath the cabinet somewhere. This is where I need a little bit of help from you guys. Maybe somebody can point one out to me. The induction stove, I already found it. I've got it in my cart ready to order off of Amazon. So I've got the induction stove. What I'm looking for is a single burner, portable, and not a camp stove. I don't want to, your cheap thin tin camp stove. I want something fairly substantial, but something that sits on the counter. One burner sits on the counter. Okay, when you use it, fine. When you get done, you can take it off and slide it back underneath in storage. Okay, so I'm looking for that one burner stove is what I'm looking for. Maybe a few inches tall, 1 foot by 1 foot, something like that with a propane burner in it. So that's what I'm looking for. I look on like Amazon, and the only thing I find is ones for RVs where there's a big burner and a little burner, and it's made for cutting a hole in your cabinet and setting it down inside there. And I really don't want to do that. I want to be able to store it away and then have this counter space all open, and then when I want to cook, pull it out, set it, turn it on. That's the way I want to set this up. So a propane one and an electric induction one. All right, so back to electrical. I got an outlet here. Remember the extension cord plug? It plugs in to the inverter and it runs down underneath here, comes up into here, into this outlet. And on the other side, on this end, instead of just having an extension cord outlet, I've got a regular household outlet in the wall. All right, I've got one there. Oh, got one way back around here. This is where the coffee pot's going to sit. So I'll set the coffee pot down here and plug it in. It'll probably stay plugged in all the time. And then that's it on this side. Just 2 outlets, and that's it. On the other side, on the driver's side, there's 2 outlets also. They're down over here. One is right here. This is for just whatever. A vacuum cleaner, a pedestal fan, an oscillating fan sitting in the floor right here, for sleeping, whatever. So that outlet there is just your regular outlet, and it's right in the center of the van. I mean, dead center in the van. So extension cord, I wouldn't have to have an extension cord for anything like a a vacuum cleaner, its own cord will be long enough to reach anywhere in the van. So that's the idea on that one there. The other one is actually, oh, you remember the bed thing? It does actually fit. Barely, it kind of squishes in there, okay? And I got a board down here. Oh, God. And that just holds that up. So it's not too bad. I'm pleasantly surprised on that. I thought it was going to be way too short and wouldn't even stand up at all, but it'll do okay. All right, so the outlet is actually hidden, not here, but around behind here. And that's for the TV. Down in this corner, I'm going to put the TV right here, and right in this corner, I'm going to drill a hole big enough for the cord to go down through. It'll go down through there and plug in back here, out of sight, out of mind, okay? So those are the only 4 outlets in the whole van, okay? Pretty simple, you know. Keep it simple, stupid, right? That's the whole idea of this van. I wanted to keep it simple, keep it to where low maintenance, not complicated to fix, you know. So when something breaks, it's, oh, well, that's easy. Just people were asking me when I was insulating the walls, why didn't I run wires through the walls? Because if you, when I was insulating it, I didn't know what floor plan I was going to do. I didn't know where to run the wires to. So I couldn't run wires, and I got to thinking, even if I did run wires, let's see, after a couple years, I don't like this layout. I can gut this interior part again, maybe leave this stuff, but all this down here, all can be gutted. Maybe move the bed up here and leave a empty spot back here. You know, a lounge chair with, turn the TV around the other way or something, who knows. So it's flexible, I guess. It's not modular, but it's flexible to where if I did want to do something, wiring's not locked into this one spot. Wiring is just underneath the cabinet, underneath the bed. It's easy. If I need to, I can completely gut it and put new stuff in. It's easy to get to. Simple maintenance. That's what I was after. So, where was I? I got the 2 outlets over here, 2 outlets over here, and that's pretty much it on the electrical, you know. And then the refrigerator, and of course just plugs straight into the inverter. So, super simple. So, trying to think what else. As you can see, I'm hobbling around. Everybody who's been watching a couple of videos ago, I was talking about how I threw my back out. It was so sore, and it's still sore. It's not as bad as it was. I've went to the chiropractor a couple times, and he's kind of adjusted and helped it. Not fixed it, but helped it. So that's where I'm at back-wise. I put ice pads on in the morning, and a couple of ibuprofen for inflammation and stuff. And I think what it is, where I pulled the bone popped out, well, the chiropractor popped it back in, but in the meantime, while it was out, it stretched the muscles and inflamed those muscles and made it sore. And that's what's taking time to heal back up. I believe that's what's going on. So I don't feel out of whack anymore like I was feeling out of whack. Now I feel straight, just tender. So give it time, it'll get good. So all right, I think that's enough for this. I'll wrap it up, and y'all have a good one. Ciao.